Last segment here on a Toyota Tuesday edition of the Morning Rush. Really excited that Dave Van Horn, head baseball coach at the University of Arkansas, has made time for us, not only just this morning, but on a game day of all days. Coach, appreciate you making some time for us.
Not a problem. You guys doing good?
Doing good. It helps when the Arkansas baseball team is unanimous number one, something that a lot of Arkansas fans are really appreciative of you and the team of. And I think what's really interesting so far early in the season, you've been doing this a long time, is the significant SEC wins that you guys have been able to pile up. And not just wins, but series wins. Coach, you guys go into Starkville, get a sweep, top 5 team in the country. Then you go into Oxford this past weekend and get another series win. Coach, for this team this season, how significant are those 2 wins in Mississippi against 2 top 5 opponents for your program this year?
Well, I think we'll find that out, at the end of the season when they, start handing out bids, regional bids, and, maybe even maybe one of the top 16 teams, top 8 teams. It's hard to say, But for us as a team to go down to those 2 places, because those are 2 of the hardest places in the league to win. Their fan base is very volatile and incredible, honestly. And then the teams themselves are just really talented. It's for what we did at Starkville. To me, that was a big feat. Haven't had a lot of success there. For us to jump out on that pitching staff and hit the way we swung the bat down there, and we actually pitched really well down there. I didn't think that. Probably our players felt like we could, go down there and win the series. Win all 3 down there I don't think anybody's going to win 3 down there this year. I think that just everything fell into place for us. Oxford, it's another tough place, full capacity, probably anywhere from 11 to 12, 13,000 a game, and, had an opportunity to win that series on Sunday. It started out great, as you saw, and then, for us to give that lead up was amazing. Honestly, I didn't see it coming. Our pitching struggled. They got some big hits, but the way we bounced back and won that game, it just showed how mentally tough our team is, and we are talented. But sometimes it's more than talent. It's about what's inside of you and not quitting. And our team really showed some guts, to be honest with you.
Coach, you mentioned kind of the grit and the toughness that your team displayed, especially on Sunday after being up 11-0 and then the game getting tied and you guys finishing it off. I wonder, going into Swayze Field with full capacity, I think they broke an attendance record, if I remember that correctly, relative to ballparks that you guys have played in this season. Do you think that had a potential negative impact on your team? How do you think that affected your team this weekend?
As far as having a full crowd, I think it. First off, the last 3 weeks for me personally have felt more normal than they have in the last 15 months. 12 months, I guess. But just Starkville, they were pretty close to full capacity. Then playing back here at home, where our fans are really loud, and then as many as we could get in there, they were there. And then going back down to Oxford, it just everything felt normal again. I think having the crowd, they were on our players pretty hard. Their fans were packed in the outfield and doing their thing out there that they do, and kept our guys' attention the whole time. Let's just put it that way, and it probably motivated us a little bit.
Davis Clay, when you watch your team play, it looks like poise and emotional steadiness, I don't know if that's a word or a phrase, is kind of the common theme. And I really saw that this weekend. The other team was really emotional, and they do some things, but just the approach that you guys take, and then I would follow up the approach that y'all take at the plate in that kind of a setting to draw 17 walks. And how do you coach that?
Well, on the offensive end, got to give Coach Thompson a lot of credit there, and Bobby Warnes. Those 2 work with our hitters day in and day out. They put in incredible amount of time. They're available all the time to work with guys extra, whatever they need. But, that was the mindset. It's been that way all year, but it's just to really stay in the zone. Early in the count, look for certain pitches. If you don't get them, no swing. And then an approach late in the count with 2 strikes. And maybe you can look for a certain area. Some teams, and if you just look at the data, they're going to pitch the same way, and they've been doing it for years. Whether they're throwing inside, outside, and they'll set a little bit of a pattern, and, you figure those out a little bit, and you look for it. Every now and then they'll pitch you a little bit backwards, and they'll get you, but, for the most part, that's what they've done there. And, as far as the way our team plays with poise, I think our team does play with emotion, but this is a long season, and we try to tell them that all the games count the same. And sure, there's different situations where you get a little crazy, a little fired up and caught up in the moment. But for the most part, we do play, pretty level-headed. Our program, we do things differently than some. I just don't want our guys getting all out of control and going crazy. Now, if the game's over, you win a game, big win, I get it. But throughout the game, if you get 2 up, and you start to get a little bit mouthy and talking and stuff in the dugout, I don't like it. They know that. I just think that it comes back and gets you later. And I think we learned a little bit of that. I think we got a little bit carried away on Sunday in the dugout. You start thinking how we got them, and it's, all I keep telling them is we need 18 more outs. We got 5 more innings to go. We haven't done anything yet. And, they probably don't really listen to you a whole lot, but then all of a sudden the game's tied and they're going, hey, the coach was right, and it's never over until we get that last out from what I've seen in this game over the last 30 years.
Dave, you got a guy that can get that last out. I mean, Matt Hobbs told me in January that in 3 months you're going to be writing something special about Kevin Kopps. Just when you're a coach and you see somebody go through hard times and Tommy John surgery and what Kevin is doing now, what does that kind of do to you as a coach? That maybe good vibes that you're feeling for him right now.
Well, I've said this many times when I've talked about Kevin. There's not probably a better human being on our team than Kopps. He gets voted team captain 2 or 3 years in a row now, and it hasn't always been about that he's such a great pitcher. It's about he's a great leader by example. He's not going to get in your face and tell you how to do things. He's going to show you how to do it with hard work, whether it's in the classroom. He's already got 1 degree working on his master's. And, he had Tommy John surgery a few years back and recovered from that, worked hard. And, he's had some bad days here as far as on the mound when he couldn't get the ball down and cutter wasn't working real good a couple of years ago. And, He's pitched so much better this year than he ever has because of experience, and he's throwing them all for a strike. And if he gets ahead of you, he can really go to work with you on you with that cutter and that slider. And but for us as coaches watching the success he's having, obviously it's very gratifying, and it's just so good to see a guy that works so hard. It's been through a lot. Having so much success, his teammates love him.
Dave Van Horn with us here on the Morning Rush. Coach, I think Arkansas fans to a certain extent have been spoiled, not only with your success, but the starting pitching. When you think about Blaine Knight going undefeated, you think about Zay only losing 1 game. And I wonder, you guys as coaches often are throughout a season are still tinkering and working out starting pitching, and that's something you reflected on in Sunday's postgame. What are your thoughts right now on where your starting pitchers are, and what do they need to continue to work on to solidify that starting rotation?
Yeah, no reason to sugarcoat it. Our struggling pitching struggled, and we know that, and it's putting a lot of pressure on our bullpen. It's going to put pressure on our offense. But in a long season, you're going to have your ups and downs, and right now the offense is kind of up. Defense has been steady all year. The pitching in the bullpen has been pretty good for the most part. But the starting pitching has not given us the innings that we need at the beginning of the game, and we're having to use our pen too much to win games. But we're hoping some guys will make a move. Obviously, we're working some things, tinkering with some things. We hope that Connor Nolan can get back. He threw a lot of long toss yesterday at 120 feet, pain free. He's getting there. We're looking at maybe a couple more weeks, but maybe it'll be a little bit sooner. And again, you can't just take a guy that's been, recovering from a slight injury and throwing that on the mound. He's got to build up. So he's been working some getting him on the mound with bullpens, and hopefully we can get him back, and hopefully he'll be better than ever, and that would be someone who can help us out. And you kind of go through a mid-season slump sometimes when you're pitchers. You just kind of, the arm gets a little bit tired or something. It's just the human body, and we're hoping that we can get going for down the stretch a little bit, because we have a lot of good pieces here where we can obviously beat anybody on any given day, but you've got to do well to start the games. When you start getting into tournaments at the end, you've got to give your bullpen a chance to rest.
Dave, we've got just a second or two, but it looks like your athletic director, Hunter Yurchek, wrapped up Eric Musselman. Just your thoughts on where the athletic department is right now with his leadership.
Well, first off, Hunter's done a great job. I've worked for a lot of athletic directors, but I like the way he approaches everything. He communicates really well with the coaches. He's all about the student athlete, but he's all about the coaches as well. And he just treats you with respect, and I appreciate it so much. And he's done a great job, and I think our athletic department's in great hands. And I sure hope that Hunter never gets away from here. And I hope the administration takes care of him as well. But keeping Coach Muss and just all the coaches, the coaches keep closer than ever and I've been here a long time. I just see a little bit more of a team amongst the coaches, and the camaraderie amongst the coaches pulling for each other. And I'm excited where the athletic department is. It's fun knowing that football's on its way back. Basketball, men's and women's, is doing great. And track's always, you could go on. Look what Courtney's doing in softball. Amazing things over there. It's hard to flip a program. The program she took over many years ago, it was at the very basement. And so we're in great shape, and I appreciate it.
Coach, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for your time. Good luck tonight against UAPB.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you.